What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a banger, a true hoot and a holler. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do, and also, a couple things I want to mention here real quick. First and foremost, drop a sub if you haven't already. What are you waiting on, dude? We've been gaining subs like crazy lately, and I really appreciate it. Thank you all very much for the recent support. Join the sub club, dude. Come on, what are you waiting on? And also, drop a like on this video if you do enjoy. And one more thing I gotta mention here is, listen. Normally, the merch is not supposed to be limited stock, but you guys bought so many beanies that we're out of them. We are sold out. There's no more beanies on the whole website, okay? We have to order more. So, first off, thank you all very much for making that happen, because they're not supposed to be limited stock, you know? It's not like it's limited quantity. It's supposed to be unlimited. You guys just bought a shitload of them. But the hoodies and the t-shirts are still available. So if you guys want to check those out, check the link at the very top of the description. Thank you guys so much for making that happen. I've never had that happen before, but the love on the beanies has been crazy, dude. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much. Without further ado, let's dive right into the video. So, this is an interesting one that I think I've briefly touched on parts of this story in previous streams, but I don't think I've ever told the whole thing. And I definitely didn't tell the whole thing in detail at the time, that's for sure. So, this took place back in the summer of 2019, which, as many of you are aware, was my cocaine phase of my life. I was a geek. I was getting geeked every single day. My nose barely worked. Don't ask me to smell something, because I totally couldn't at this point in my life. It was wild. But at this point, I would do just about anything for some blow. And on this particular day, I got a DM from a guy who sold Fortnite accounts, if you guys can believe that used to be a thing. They used to actually pay YouTubers for sponsorships for that, right? This guy DMs me, and he was a Fortnite account seller back when, you know, people cared about that game. And he was like, hey, dude, listen, man, I sell Fortnite accounts, you know, and like 2K accounts and other game accounts, and, you know, I want a promo in one of your videos. So I was like, okay, sounds good. You know, we could do that. And he offered me an amount of money. I didn't even ask him for an amount. He offered an amount that sounded pretty acceptable to me, right? He only wanted to plug in one video. He only wanted, like, his link in the description. He offered me $500 for saying basically nothing. All I had to do was put his link in the description and be like, yeah, go. If you want to buy a Fortnite account, go check out this fucking dickhead, right? That's all. So, of course, I was like, okay, that sounds good. Before I accepted his money, though, I went and I searched up his name on Twitter, because that's where he DM'd me. So I was like, well, the guy's got a presence on here, you know, let's see what people are saying about him. Because obviously this is something I'd never worked with before. Usually I do sponsorships from like CBD companies or like other stuff like that. You know, obviously on different platforms, I do those on here. Or, you know, I do certain sponsorships that are not like that at all. So I want to do my research a little bit. So I searched this guy up, and I realized that there's a bunch of like threads about him saying that he's scamming. So I'm like, yo, dude. Wonderful. I'm going to reverse jug him. Let's hit a lick, you know? Because I searched up his name, and he was sponsoring a bunch of other YouTubers, too. A lot of other, like, 2K, you know, sports YouTubers. Anyone. This guy sponsored a lot of YouTubers. And it seemed that he would do that and then scam their fans, right? Just fuck them to make his money back. He didn't actually have the accounts. So I saw that, and I was like, okay, dude, this is some free real estate. Count me in, right? So I shoot him a DM back, and I'm like, yeah, bro, just fucking send me that money, and we could definitely start working. So this idiot zells me. This idiot sends me a direct payment right to my bank. I say, baby, sayonara, I'm never speaking to you again. This is cocaine money. At this point in my life, I didn't, you know, I was blowing all my money on coke. Getting a large influx of cash at one time like this was uncommon, because I'd blow it all on coke. The closest thing I'd get was my YouTube paychecks, which back then weren't a ton of money. I didn't make much ad revenue, but I'd blow that all on coke too. You know, it was a little more than 500, but I'd blow that all too immediately, right? So once this money hit my account, I was like, wow, I can't believe this idiot is about to get licked, dude. He's so used to hitting him, I'm about to hit him with it, right? So I obviously never speak to this kid again. And we're not going to really talk about what happened with that. Listen, he threatened to contact Keemstar. He doesn't give a fuck. I highly doubt. And then he threatened to contact the Federal Trade Commission. Dude, he's a scammer. Go ahead, you idiot. All right? Try me. Hey, free half a rack. Thanks, bud. So I immediately hit up my code plug, and I'm like, yo, dude, how much would you give me for $500? I didn't put aside a penny of that money, dude. Immediately, directly to the plug. How much you give me for $500, right? He's like, oh, I got you, dude. I'll throw you like 9 grams. I'm like, well, that's a pretty good price. He gave me an option. He's like, 9 grams of the top shelf shit, or I could get a lot more of the lower quality shit. I was like, dude, I want the best stuff, you know? Like, I didn't tell him this, but to me, this was pretty much free coke, you know? That I was ecstatic right now. So I'm like, dude, absolutely, I'll buy that. So I go link up with Coke Man. I grab my little 9-gram bag off him. Not little at all. It was nice. It was like just a few really big rocks. He did me right, dude. He did me so fucking right. I throw him the cash. He throws me the blow. And we're sitting there chatting a little bit. I'm asking how he's doing. But I'm in a rush, dude. I get out of his car and back into mine. And I immediately call up my boy Kevin, right? Kyle is we're going to call him Kevin. It's just how we've always done it. It's how we're going to continue, right? So I call up my boy Kevin and I'm like, dude, listen, bro. I got a lot of Coke. Let's link up right now. What are you doing? He's like, nothing. Slide through. Come pick me up. So I drive over to Kevin's house and I pick him up. And I walk inside. And I remember he's sitting on the couch. And I go over to the dining room table. And I take this fat sack of cocaine out of my pocket and just smack those rocks up against the table. And they're loud. They're hard. They are good rocks of blow cane. Not too hard. Just the right density. Just the right texture. Perfect. As soon as he sees that, he jumps up. He's like, oh, what do you got there? So I start explaining to him. I'm like, dude, this idiot fucking Fortnite scammer just paid me half a band. I bought Coke with it. This is on the house, bud. Let's do as much of this as humanly possible tonight. But I still didn't realize, how much I still didn't think about how much of this I was going to like save and how much of this I was going to do. Because I wanted to be smart with it and try to make some money off it. And I actually did. This is one of the things that kind of really helped maintain my blow habit back then, this particular incident, right? I've ended up putting aside, after I scaled it out, because Kevin had the scale, we did it at his house, it ended up being pretty close to 10 G's. He packed it really fat for me. It was like 6 or some shit. It was over 9.5. So I was really happy. And I decided that I was going to put aside like 5 grams of it, and we were just going to go crazy as hell with the rest. We were going to go mental, do whatever the hell we wanted. But that 5 grams, I figured realistically, the right person, I could get, let's say, 80, maybe even $90 a gram if I find the right person, That's $300, $400 right there. Count me in, baby. That's almost the whole half rack back. I'm all in, cocaine for free. Hey, you know what it is. I think I ended up even dipping into that 5-gram stash, but we made money either way. It kept us afloat for a while. So I've got this little baggie separated here, about 4.5 grams, and I'm like, Kevin, dude, we got to find a place to go do a shitload of cocaine all night because his parents were coming home, right? His dad was coming home. His sister were coming home. We couldn't chill at his house forever. So we'd sit at his dining room table and we chop up and do some blow. And we're on our phones just bombarding everyone's Snapchat. We're hitting up the homies. We're like, boys, if you've ever wanted to do nose drugs, tonight is the night. If you've ever wanted cocaine in your whole life, you want to hit the slopes, bud, let's send it. Hey, hit me back, right? We're hitting everyone up, and finally, Nate replies. I'm pretty sure this is the name I've given him in the past. I haven't talked about this guy really since Coke Chronicles, honestly. He was kind of one of those friends that, you, only kick it with when you do a certain drug, because he also does a lot of that drug. That was this guy, right? So we hit up Nate, and Nate hits me back, and he's like, yo, dude, you should come through to my garage. He had a garage chill spot that was kind of similar to my friend Cody's, if you guys have watched some of my older videos, where, he just had a couple couches set up and a table, and it was a great smoke spot. He had a PlayStation in there, a TV. It was sick. So obviously, this guy only lives 3 blocks away. It's a no-brainer. It's an obvious yes. Me and Kevin were like, yeah, dude, we can even walk over to this guy's house if you wanted to. That's how close he was. So we chop up a little more, hop back in my car, and we whip on over to Nate's house. Nate's sitting in his garage with the garage rolled up already waiting for us, and he's in there all alone, which, was not that common. Usually he had at least a couple other people over. His garage was a very, very popular spot. A lot of people would come here and smoke, And I think he was one of those guys who would just kind of let people come through to his house to get high for free all the time, which, it works, dude, Thanks for, hey, it's a very good relationship, You got the host and then you got the druggie, and they come together and they work in harmony. It's just perfect, right? So either way, we go over to Nate's house, and I dap him up, and I'm like, bud, you picked the right night to hang out, dude. And I tell him, I'm like, you better bust out your Coke mirror right now. So he busts out, he had this mirror in his garage, and it was it was just this circular, pretty, you'd hang it on a wall kind of thing. And he busts this thing out, puts it on my lap. And I take this bag with 4.5, probably closer to 5 grams in it. And I just dump it on the mirror. I dump it all out. He's like, holy fucking shit. He's like, that's beautiful. I look at him and I say, if we're able to, I'm totally cool with doing all of this tonight. And he's like, are you fucking serious? And I'm like, yeah. So I kind of started explaining to him how I got this coke, and I explained to him how it was basically free. And he was like, well, yeah, dude, I'm not doing shit tomorrow. Let's get fucked up. Let's go crazy, right? So we sit in this guy's garage and we start chopping up immediately. We start getting geeked on the fucking spot, dude. It's over with. Absolutely over with, dude. We're chopping up fat lines, huge lines. I remember Kevin, he did a line that was almost as long as the whole entire thing, dude. The whole tray. We were going crazy with it. The whole meal. We were going ballistic, chopping up left, right, and center, dude. We had so much cocaine on that fucking plate. You could probably take a little tech deck and do tricks off the lines, dude. It was crazy, all right? But either way, I digress here. So, we're chopping up for a little bit, and we decide, hey, man, we need to get some drinks in us. We need to get a little bit of liquor in us. Nate, of course, I think he was like, I don't remember how many years older, but either way, he was older than us and of age at this point. I don't think Kevin was 21 yet. I think he turned 21 like a month after this, but as of this point, he was still not 21. So Nate was, though. So we ended up opting to go hop in the car and drive over to the grocery store just a block over and grab some brews, right? We send in Nate. He goes in there. He grabs a couple cases of Coronas and some limes and comes back out. Now we had a beautiful night ahead of us, boys. We got the Coronas with the limes. We have a mountain of cocaine and only 3 heads to deal with it. So we're sitting in Nate's garage once we get back with the Coronas. We're putting some limes in them, and we're just chilling, dude. It's counterintuitive a bit to drink at the same time as you're doing blow, but when you have an abundance of alcohol and cocaine, who gives a shit, dude? Sometimes you do so many drugs that it's not about actually doing the drug. It's not about getting high, You get high every day, all right? It's just about enjoying the time. It's about enjoying the moment, Could I just do cocaine and maybe get more fucked up overall? Or could I just drink instead of doing both? Maybe get more fucked up overall? Yeah. But you know what? There's no better feeling than having a mountain of cocaine in front of me and like a giant case of Coronas right next to me, just ready to rumble. The best feeling ever. Wonderful. I'm on cloud 9 at this point. So we're playing some cards like we typically did. Playing all sorts of games, dude. And eventually, other people were stopping in and chilling throughout the night. We're smoking some weed, too. We actually didn't bring over any weed at this point. I didn't have any. Kevin didn't have any, and neither did Nate. But as people were pulling up throughout the night, I was just giving them lines in exchange for smoke outs. So it worked out pretty well. It was actually a super dope night. But there were so many different heads that came through that honestly, there's no point in me naming them all. So we're just going to generalize it at that, all right? A lot of people came through. I did a little bit of bartering, a little bit of exchanging, and got, a little tri-faded, the trifecta, the cocaine, the weed, and the liquor. What more do you need? So the night progresses, and eventually people stop coming by, and we realize it's because it's already 3 a.m., and we've been up all night drinking and doing blow. At this point, I'm pretty drunk, and the coke isn't really counteracting it anymore, and everyone in the garage is pretty drunk. And Nate had a fairly unique feature about him where whenever you give him enough of a certain drug, no one knows what the combo is, by the way. No one knows what the trigger is, but alcohol is always involved. If you get him crossfaded on like certain drugs enough, he goes like very incel mode. I don't know if I've talked about this in my past videos. Maybe I touched on it a little bit in Coke Chronicles, but Nate has like a legitimate, deep-seated like problem with women. I don't know if something happened to him or what, but we're sitting there drinking. And eventually we're on the topic of girls, And I remember I asked Nate, I'm like, Nate, like, you talking to any ladies? How's it going? And he's like, no, dude, I don't really want to deal with any whores now, And I'm kind of like, well, what do you mean, And he's like, well, all the girls nowadays are just total whores, They just want to fuck everyone but me. And like, I thought he was like joking at first, I thought he was just kind of joking around. But as I kind of talked to him more, he was really fucking serious. He was like, dude, all these girls, they're just whoring out. I'm not looking for that, And I'm sitting there, Kevin's sitting there, and he's just wide-eyed. He's like, oh God, because this was a fairly common occurrence. It's not like he would like to go into like a rage and like get angry at us, but you could just tell if you brought up women around him, it was usually a very touchy subject. So he's rambling on about how much he just fucking hates women and vagina's the worst shit ever. All women are whores, yada yada, all this shit. We're sitting there just doing some lines, sipping our brews, watching some videos on the PlayStation, some music videos going and shit. He had some speakers hooked up too. And man, he is just absolutely incel raging it out at this point, dude. Like, there's no better way to describe. I don't think I've ever truly met someone that I would describe as an incel until I actually, sat down and really had like a deep talk with Nate about girls. Like, I've sat down and talked with this guy before about it, and like, dude, he just fucking hates women, dude. It's crazy, but he's straight. He just hates them. It's really weird. But either way, so eventually that topic is kind of dropped because I realize I'm poking the bear and I don't really want to deal with this anymore. So we go back to doing our blow, right? We go back to doing our blow. Kevin was sitting there, and it was kind of funny as well at one point, because at one point he made a comment. He was like, Kevin, your girlfriend might have even been a whore at one point. Kevin looks at him. He's like, what the fuck did you just say to me, dude? It was pretty funny. But either way, back on topic here. So we realize, after this conversation kind of dies down, we've been sitting here just chatting about random shit for so long that the sun was coming up, We closed the garage like halfway through the night because it got cold, but, we realized eventually, we checked the time, and we were like, dude, it's like fucking 6 a.m. almost, We crack open that garage, and sure enough, the sun is rising, dude. You could see perfectly fine outside. But we still have a whole lot more cocaine to go. I don't know how much. I'm not scaling that shit. We didn't bring a scale with us. Nate probably had one, but we didn't care. We had a whole lot more blow to go, and none of us were tired. Just a little bit coming down off the drinks and kind of fiending for some weed, because at this point nobody was there and none of us had any, and we probably should have traded some coke for weed, like to hold on to, but I didn't really think that far ahead. So obviously, we're not going to go home. We're not losers. We stay up throughout the morning and keep doing more blow. We're sitting there, and we're getting, we're kind of crashing. We're getting to the point where the coke isn't really getting us geeked anymore. It's just kind of keeping us awake, And some of you guys might kind of understand that feeling after you stay up all night on a coke binge. It gets to the point where you're not getting geeked. You're kind of just staying awake, That's pretty much what it comes down to after you're super exhausted. And I was, because I never got good sleep to begin with during this phase of my life because I was a cokehead. So we're chilling throughout the morning, and we're just kind of waiting, hitting people up on Snapchat, kind of waiting for everyone to wake up, just doing blow throughout the morning. And finally, we get a response. We hit some people up. It was Nate who actually hit people up. I don't know who they were, but some dudes came over with some weed that I'd basically never met before, and I traded them some blow. Everyone likes coke, and we got our kush, At that point, I was like, okay, we need to actually get weed to hold on to. So these dudes came over, and I was like, bro, I'll give you guys like half a gram of coke or something, or like I'll give you guys each like 2-3 lines right now for like couple, like 3, let's say an eighth, give me an eighth. I'll give you guys like half a gram of blow right now. We'll call it even, right? They're like, bet, dude, sounds good. So we got some kush, we smoked with them, we matched, dapped them up, they dipped out, and then we had the garage back to ourselves. We were at the point where we were all kind of too wired up and out of it to really want to, like have any other people over that, unless they benefited us directly. We just want to sit there in our little trio and play cards and watch PlayStation videos and continue doing blow. So we did that throughout the day, and eventually it got to the point where we just crashed. I don't really remember exactly what time or when, but I crashed on the couch, and he had a lot of chairs in his garage, so we all slept, dude. I remember waking up like the next morning at like 3 a.m. or some shit, and Nate was already up. I was like the second one up. Nate was just sitting there, shuffling cards and shit, and I woke up, and I was like, holy shit. We just slumped forever. We woke right back up, got immediately, bam, back to doing blow, dude. We ended up, by the time I went home, which was not for like days now that I think about it, I stayed at Nate's house for like 2 days straight doing coke. But we mopped that whole 4.5, 5 grams easy. No problem, baby. It was a hoot. It was a holler. And by the end of it, I remember towards the end, I actually had to cram a tissue up my left nostril because it just wouldn't stop running. And the right nostril was the only functioning one I had left. It was pretty fucked, but a good time nevertheless. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Once again, thank you guys for making the beanies sell out. Check out the merch link at the very top of the description. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, gamers.